I was on my phone browsing Trend Mood yesterday, my favorite pastime, and I saw that Kim Kardashian has a new makeup brand called Skin. So I looked at the swatches and I was actually dumbfounded that this whole brand centered around neutrals and skin tones had maybe 1 to 2 coolish lip liners and basically no cool tone lipsticks for a whole neutral line. And I was like, why? I just can't fathom it, and it made me want to do this video even more. Finding foundations is a really hard thing, but I would say this is the #2 hardest thing for me to find that flatters my skin tone, which are the correct lip colors. So to save you all of like the time and money that I spent trying to find these, I'm going to show you all of my favorites. I'll be swatching everything so you can see how it looks on my skin. So if you're ever in the need of like a neutral cool tone, if every lipstick pulls warm on you, this is like the ultimate guide. You're gonna love it. Everything will be linked below. And if you find this helpful at any point, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe so you can come back and reference it whenever you need it if you're makeup shopping and you're not sure what shade to get. Let me take off this lip and then we will get started in the lip liner category. So I feel like finding cool neutral lipsticks is a really hard thing to do, but finding a cool tone lip liner I think is even harder. These I have just had to try so many, like 10 times this amount to find these shades. So let's get started. Starting with an affordable brand, ColourPop, I actually have 3 shades from the ColourPop line that are my favorites. First, if you watch my channel, you have probably seen me use this lip liner. It's my everyday cool neutral lip liner. It's also light enough to not show up too dark on my lips. This is the Cool BFF shade. They have a BFF shade as well, but the cool version is my personal favorite. Formula-wise, these are really creamy. I think they stay for a good amount of time. They're definitely not super long wearing or on the drier side, so I think they're really good in between a formula, but they're not going to be like bulletproof on the lip. This one is not very sharp, but I will show you how it looks. I had this one on in the intro of the video, by the way. So this is ColourPop Cool BFF. Looks so natural, literally my favorite shade, and it's affordable, so what's not to love? Before we move on, I actually want to give you a reference point. This is the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Pillow Talk. Everyone says it's like the perfect pink. I think Pillow Talk pulls too warm on me, and I have the lip liner, so I want to swatch it in case you've ever tried this lip liner. It's a really popular color, so if you have and you feel like it pulls too warm, I'm going to swatch it to give you a good reference point. That is Pillow Talk right there. This is ColourPop Cool BFF. Next up from ColourPop is the Lippy pencil in the shade Ashton, which is a slightly deeper version. This is the shade Ashton. It's a little bit darker than Cool BFF. I feel like it's a hint warmer, but barely. If you have maybe more medium skin or you're just darker than me, you may prefer the depth of this one a little bit more, or if you just want something darker, the Cool BFF is still my everyday neutral favorite, but let's put this one on. Same exact formula as the other one. Here is Ashton by ColourPop. A little bit more of a 90s look on me. I still really enjoy this one. I think it's super wearable. My last pick from ColourPop is a bit more pink, and this is the shade Oh Snap. So this is the shade Oh Snap by ColourPop. Pillow Talk, as you can tell, like these are both pink, but this one definitely, you can see the warmth that it has compared to Oh Snap. Just a little bit more muted, a little bit more purple in there, so it's going to be a lot more flattering if you like a cool toned lip. Here's Oh Snap. This one is really pretty in pink. I should honestly wear this one more. It's really pretty and still pulls quite neutral. Next up, we have a Sephora Collection gel lip liner. This one's really moisturizing, so it doesn't necessarily last a long time, but if you have dry lips or you want something moisturizing, it's a nice formula. This shade, the Nudist, is probably the lightest lip pencil that I have. It's actually basically empty. Let's see if I can even swatch this. It is such a gorgeous shade. I feel like the packaging doesn't quite match the shade. It has a lot of purple in it. This is Cool BFF, which is my favorite for everyday, which has more of like a neutral tinge to it. This one is really purple and taupey, so if you feel like even these might pull warm on you, like you're very cool toned, give this one a shot because it is just the coolest lip liner. I used to love the Lime Crime Taupus lip liner, but it got discontinued. It was a very similar shade to this where it just had a lot of purple in it, but it was still very light. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to put this one on. There's barely anything left, but I think I can manage. Yeah, this shade is so gorgeous. I feel like it blends in with my own natural lip tone so seamlessly, and I do like the more moisturizing formula. Just keep in mind, it doesn't last the longest, so this is the Nudist by Sephora Collection. Next, I have the NYX lip pencils. Just the regular formulas are my favorite. I think they stay the longest. They're a little bit drier, but I feel like they just, I love the longevity. So I have 2 shades here. First is Nude Beige, which I would say is my favorite out of both of these. So here is Nude Beige, nice and pigmented. It does seem similar to Cool BFF. Cool BFF is just a little bit lighter. You can tell this one has a little bit more brown in it, but it's still really wearable. This is one of the first lip liners I discovered that actually I felt like looked good on me and didn't pull too warm. Another good drugstore pick. Let's put this one on. All of these are so dull because I use them so much, but here's Nude Beige by NYX, a classic, looks great. I think this would work for a lot of people as well. Whenever I go to the NYX lip liner section, I'm always overwhelmed by how many shades there are, and I feel like these little, like, they never quite match up. Like, it's kind of similar, but not really. So this is a good reference point. Nude Beige is a classic. Next up is Nude Truffle. So I guess if you're looking at the NYX lip liners, the ones with the nude in the name are the neutral cool ones. So this is Nude Truffle. You can tell it definitely has a lot more brown in it, pulling a little bit warm, but I still feel like it looks really good on, and again it's more of like that 90s brown look. So here's Nude Truffle. We're pulling into some deeper lip liner category for the last ones I have to mention. If you're looking for a brown from the drugstore that won't pull warm, I think this is a really good solid option. This with like a lighter lipstick, gorgeous. Next up is one from the brand House of Sillage, which is a little bit more of a luxury brand, but I really like this formula, and this shade is like the perfect contouring lip shade. So I don't see the shade name on here. I will be sure to link it. It is the sort of like neutral brown one. So this has even more depth than the NYX one, but you can tell it has a lot more of that purpley taupe undertone, so it just never pulls warm, and like I mentioned, is a really perfect like lip contour shade. Formula is gorgeous, by the way. It's the perfect amount of creaminess, but it still sticks on the lips and stays for a really great amount of time. It's a really cool contouring lip shade. You can do a lighter lip over this, you could do a red. It's just so versatile, and even though it is the darkest one here, still get a lot of use out of this one. My lips are already so dry, but we have two more lip liners here. These are more of my purpley pink options. I want something slightly brighter, so this is the Thrive Cosmetics lip liner formula, and this is the shade Gislin. I don't know if I say that correctly. This has a very little fine tip. It's a, not a push-up, a twist up liner. So we're definitely getting the most sort of saturation in pigment here. It's a very pretty purple heavy pink shade. This is a very long lasting formula. It's almost like a liquid lipstick in a lip pencil, but it still feels nice and creamy. So you can see this would go really nicely with like a pink, purple, more bold sort of lip, or if you just like something that's more saturated and more on the pink nude, I think you would really like this one from Thrive. Lastly, we have another one from NYX. This is their Line Loud formula, and this one is the shade Fierce Flirt. In this line, I noticed there is a lot of warm tones, but this one is really pretty. It is slightly lighter than the Thrive Cosmetics one. Doesn't really seem similar to any of these because it has, again, more saturation. Definitely a very purpley pink. These stay on your lips so long. It's like glue on your lips almost, so that's why I saved it for last. Well, let's go ahead and apply it. It's still really creamy. Messed the shape up of this one a little bit, but that's all right. So here is Fierce Flirt. Has that more pigmented pinkish purple tone, a little bit lighter than the Thrive one. So this is my go-to like pinkish purple lip liner. I'll pair it with some of my other pink nudes that I have. Okay, next we're gonna do lip balms. Thank God, because my lips are like crying for help already. Yeah, this one, I'm gonna need some micellar water. The NYX one, it just stays on your lips so much. Even the micellar water is not getting it off that easily. The NYX Line Loud's like, if you need something that's not gonna come off, that formula is definitely legit. Here's a last look at all of the lip liner swatches. I would love to know which one is your favorite, or you feel like you would wear the most out of all of these. All right, lip balm. So these are all the tinted lip balms that I feel like actually pull cool, neutral, or they're just really flattering shades. Another category where there tend to be a lot of like warm, neutral shades. Starting off, this one is quite sheer, but I still really like it. It's the Make Beauty. These are called their serum balms, and this is the shade Lilac Layer. I'm not sure if you could tell, but it is a very sheer purple shade. If you are looking to get any sort of sheer balm, I would just go with like the most purple shade. Usually because they're so sheer, it just pulls as like a neutral cool tone. Oh my god, this feels so nice after rubbing off all of those lip liners. So here's Lilac Layer. Not super pigmented, but gorgeous formula. Nice and balmy, like a really thin balm. And I just feel like it does give you the perfect amount of tint that you could layer up. Love this. loving how it feels. I love this tinted lip balm so much. I pulled this out of my bag. It was the only lip product in my bag, and usually I have a lot, so I feel like that says a lot. This just does it all. This is from Honest Beauty. I believe this comes in white packaging now. This is like my older one. This is the shade Plum Drop. I think I've heard people compare this to Clinique Black Honey, which I've never tried. Oh, let me do a swatch on my hand for the lip balms as well. That's Lilac Layer by Make Beauty. And then this is the Plum Drop by Honest Beauty. I'm gonna build this up so you can see the shade as much as possible. It's a really gorgeous, like plummy shade. It's quite balanced, like it doesn't pull too cool toned. Absolutely love how buildable this shade is, because if I'm out and about and my lipstick and lip liner wears off, just put this on because I like having some color on my lips. You can have it sheer, or this is a couple layers. Isn't this shade just the most gorgeous? The formulas, by the way, extremely creamy and lightweight. Like they almost feel like an oily product, but they stay on like a balm. Amazing. You can find this on Amazon. Highly recommend the Plum Drop shade. It's just so flattering. Next up, we have one from Thrive Cosmetics. These are called their Sheer Strength Lip Balms, and this one is the shade Rowan. As you can tell, compared to Plum Drop, it has a little bit more of a red to it. Like it's almost like a brick red shade. So if you feel like you do better with like really cool toned purples, definitely stick with Plum Drop. If you want something with a bit more red in it, I think that this one is a good option. Really similar formula to the Honest Beauty one, maybe a little bit thicker. These have a much fruitier scent, which I don't like. The Honest Beauty ones are really subdued. I find the pigment evenness a little bit more inconsistent with the Thrive one, which is another reason why I love the Honest Beauty one, is because it just applies so smoothly. I don't feel like I have to smooth it out with my fingers. So that's sort of the con of this one, but I still think it's a really gorgeous, like more just really soft red shade on my lips. Love a tinted lip balm. This one's great. They do have other shades, but most of them are warm. So I would definitely suggest the shade Rowan if you want to try this formula. Next up, we have the ALLLL Tinted Lip Balms. This is the shade Lullaby. The Balmy Tint Hydrating Lip Balm is the official name. These sort of like come in a flat shape, which isn't my favorite. I just feel like it's not as precise. Even though I don't have like a very sharp shape to my lips, I just wish they were sort of slanted. The shade is definitely way more pink leaning. It's a shade Lullaby, by the way. Out of all these are very muted, and this is like a brighter pink. Still very flattering because it's on that neutral cool side. Doesn't make my teeth look yellow. Beautiful formula, honestly also similar to the Honest Beauty one. These I think have a little bit more pigment, slightly thinner, and the pigment is nice and smooth. I actually have a full swatch video for all of these shades if you were curious, but I think this one is still my favorite. Next up, we have a tinted gloss. This one comes in a tube, which I have some gripe with this packaging. The sort of like top of it blows out, so it's been leaking. I need to put it in a different container, but it is from RMS. These are their lip lights, and this is the shade Rumor, which is a really gorgeous like plummy balm. Let me do a little swatchy swatch here. So it definitely has more of that like brownie plum shade, sort of similar to these first three, but has, yeah, it's definitely more brown looking. I think the just application method of these in the tube is not my favorite, but the shade in the formula is definitely something that I really enjoy. This one looks so pretty and like very subdued on me. I feel like it goes with so many different looks, and it has this thin balmy consistency again that it's actually quite pigmented, and the pigment is really even, which I enjoy, especially for a lip balm that's a little bit on the pricier side. This is gorgeous. The shade Rumor, by the way. They also have a sheer pink one, but in terms of the more pigmented one, this one is gorgeous. This is described as a lip gloss, by the way, on their site, but it's in my mind totally just a tinted lip balm. Like, it is glossy. I don't know why it would be a gloss. To me, a gloss is like a little bit thicker and super shiny. Just giving tinted lip balm vibes, but still really love this. These last two were getting a little bit funky. First is from Burt's Bees. This is the lip shimmer in the shade Guava. Now this shade I think almost pulls like too cool and frosty on its own, so I like to layer this. It is a very, very true cool toned lilac, and it has that shimmer in it. Yeah, so this one on its own, I will show you what it looks like. I think it's a little bit much, but I love it as a topper for other shades that I want to cool down or just add a little bit of shimmer. This definitely has more of that like traditional lip balm formula. It's minty and a bit thicker, less shiny than a lot of these. You're probably like, why is this in her favorites video? Trust me, on top of other lips, it's really pretty, and it is a super true cool toned. As you can see, this is very 2000s. So again, not my favorite on its own, but I think over other lipsticks, it's really pretty and gives you that like frosty look, or even with like a really dark lip liner. I think this would be gorgeous. Next is a new lip balm for me from Mob Beauty. This is their black lip balm, which is the lip balm in the shade M138. I believe this is in collaboration with Jessica Hayes. So yeah, this is literally a black lip balm. The first one I've ever tried. These are quite pigmented and soft. I mean, it's a black lip balm. Like, there is no hiding that. I will show you what it looks like on its own, but then I'll also describe how I like to wear this. So here's what it looks like on its own. You can sheer it out. The one thing with this is if you have any dry skin, like, it really sticks to it. And I just find the pigment with this isn't the most even. Like, I usually have to go into my fingers and just like even it out. And even then, it still seems a little bit patchy. So this hasn't been my favorite thing to wear on its own, but to put on top of lipsticks to sort of like neutralize it. But I still wanted to mention it. Like, this is just the ultimate cool tone lip balm topper. Before we move on to lipsticks, I want to show you two of my favorite shades of lip stains. I feel like lip stains are like very popular right now, but again, a lot of them are so warm, like the e.l.f. one, other drugstore options, they just seem to have a lot of these warm shades. So I love the Flower Beauty formulas because these are called their bitten lip stains, by the way. They have a really nice array of sort of more flattering shades for me. So let's start off with this one, which has a little bit more red to it, the shade Play. These are a really nice liquidy gel formula. You can see how pigmented it is right off the bat. Out of everything here, it is definitely the most bold, but because it is a lip stain, I will usually put like a lighter gloss or even a lighter lipstick on top of this, and when you sheer it out, I think it looks really pretty. So let me go ahead and apply this one. These are really thin and hydrating, and they feel like plush and juicy on the lips, but then they dry down and you get just that amazing lip stain. Like, isn't this shade so pretty? It looks like it might be too bold, but it just has such a nice plummy red undertone that is really flattering if you have a cool tone skin. I wear this a ton in the summer. Super pretty. Let me take this off before it actually stains. Okay, so that's what the stain looks like. I'm gonna try to remove it and show you the next shade. Just playing around, this is the stain with the Honest Beauty Plum Drop. So pretty, right? Next up is more of a pinky lilac shade. This one is called Sass. This one is a very, very cool toned purple, like almost maybe too cool tone. Like, I wish it had a little bit more neutrality, but as a lip stain, I think it still really works. We still have a little bit of the past one on, but I'll show you this color. I think if you wear this under a warmer lipstick, it would definitely help to neutralize the warmth. I still think it looks really pretty on. It just has this like bright purple vibe, maybe more of like a fun summer lip, or even for winter. I mean, anytime. It still seems pretty neutral to me. So that is the shade Sass from Flower Beauty. So this is actually a really good example of the Flower Beauty lip stains once they're washed off. This one was the darker shade, which was Play, and then this one is Sass. They actually have quite a similar undertone once they're just a stain. Okay, another random combo because I'm just trying out a bunch of things. This is the ALLLL Lullaby lip balm with the Flower Beauty Play lip stain still on the lips. So pretty, right? Finding a lot of good combos. I definitely should have done the lip stains at the end of the video. I thought they would come off, but like, I'm gonna try to maybe put a little bit of just like foundation on my lips to neutralize it. So let's get into the actual lipstick category here. I want to start with the ones that these are like the warmest out of all of the lipsticks that I wear. So even though they are warm, I feel like they're really muted and like a neutral warm shade that makes them actually wearable for my skin tone. So if you feel like you usually like really cool tones but maybe want something that's a little bit warmer, these are like as warm as I go for my lipstick. First is the Makeup by Mario. These are the matte formulas, and this is the shade Erin, which is just a really gorgeous light, like you definitely tell it's more of like a neutral, slightly warm shade. It might even be described as cool toned on this Sephora website, I'm not sure, but on me, it just has a little bit of warmth to it, but it's still quite flattering. This is full pigment, so I feel like it will cover up the lip stain quite well. The only thing is mine like keeps getting pushed down. Yeah, I think it's pulling slightly more pink on my lips, so maybe just refer to the swatch. I also have the shade Sam from Makeup by Mario, but this one just pulls way too warm on me. So if you're debating between the two, I would definitely go with Erin. This is a really smooth, comfortable matte formula, by the way. Doesn't feel too drying, lasts a really great amount of time. One of my favorite like If I'm going for a slightly warmer neutral, one of my favorites. Next, we have a Mob Beauty lipstick, which is the shade M102 Matte Lip. I was expecting this to be even more like of a purpley grayish, but it actually turned out to be like a slightly warmer. Look at the pigment, by the way. It is so pigmented and smooth. It pulls slightly warmer than I was expecting it to be, but I still think it's a really pretty like grayish beige. It's a grayish. The pigment is insane on these. Like, that was one swipe. Like, I feel like I can't even use that much. I believe this one was also in collab with Jessica Hayes. I actually really love this shade. It's just giving me like goth vampy vibes and I love it. It has so much like gray blue in it that even though it has, I feel like, quite a warm base, it just looks like really fun and dramatic in such a cool way. So I actually really enjoy this one. The formula is insane. Like, the pigment is out of this world, really smooth but still feels extremely lightweight on the lips. So that is M102 from Mob Beauty. And my last warmish beige favorite is from Patrick Ta. These are the Monochrome Moment Silky Lip Creams, and this one's the shade She's Independent. So this is a liquid lipstick formula. This is like not even warm, but compared to all the other ones I'm going to show you, it definitely has the most warmth out of everything. Actually, looking at it on camera, it is quite warm. It's kind of a like deeper, slightly more pigmented version of that first shade. Let's go ahead and put it on. I actually really love this one. I don't feel like it pulls too warm. It's just like right on that edge of what I would like to wear. This is a really silky pigmented lip cream, so it's sort of like a liquid lipstick that doesn't really dry down, so it feels a little bit thicker on the lips but still really wearable, pretty color. So this is She's Independent by Patrick Ta. The next shade I want to show you is kind of in a category of its own. I would just say it's my perfect neutral lipstick. The rest of these that I have pull either a little bit pink or purple, but this one is like a really neutral cool tone. It is the MAC Viva Glam 2 lipstick. This with the ColourPop Cool BFF is like my ultimate everyday lip combo. It's their satin formula, so it does have like quite a bit of pink in it. It just makes it look so wearable and pretty, but very cool toned leaning. Super creamy, super muted. I think it's just like, if I was a lipstick, this would be the shade. It's almost the closest to my natural lip tone. I don't have a lot of pigment in my lips, but I really like how muted, and it's like a pinky grayish. It just works perfectly. Doesn't make my teeth look yellow, doesn't pull peachy or warm. One of my all-time favorites. Next, I would call this my more pink category, starting with the most like neutral nude pink, which is from Merit Beauty. Another one of my all-time favorites. This is the Baby shade, which is described as a neutral pink. This one is a little bit more sheer and moisturizing compared to the MAC formula. You can tell these are really similar shades. Oh my god, are those the same shade? No. Okay, so the MAC one has a little bit more of like a cool pink to it. This one is ever so slightly warmer, but they are really similar. No wonder I love both of them. This is more of a moisturizing, lighter formula compared to the MAC one. Even though the MAC is a satin, this is like a heavy satin. Not in that it's heavy on the lips, but it's a very strong satin. It's almost leaning on a glossy lipstick. So this is Baby, by the way. Did I mention the name? I hope so. Baby by Merit Beauty. This one is so pretty and comfortable. If you get anything out of this video, might be that one. Next up, I wanted to mention the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. This is not Pillow Talk. This is the slightly cool toned sister of Pillow Talk that I feel like no one talks about. It's called Very Victoria. This is just their matte formula, by the way. Charlotte Tilbury lipstick's definitely not my favorite. You can tell it still leans slightly warm compared to these like more pinky ones, but I definitely prefer this one over Pillow Talk. If you got Pillow Talk and you felt like it was almost perfect, maybe a little bit too warm pink, I would try out Very Victoria. Not that these are bad lipstick formulas, I just think they're slightly overpriced for what they are. Like, I'd much rather have the MAC or the Merit Beauty one, but this is Very Victoria. You can tell it has more like that warmish pink tone, but still looks quite wearable and natural. Next up, we have a ColourPop lipstick. This was my first time trying this formula. It's their ColourPop Luxe Cream. This is the shade Still Crazy, which is a really gorgeous, like definitely slightly more pigmented pink, but the tone of it is perfect. I will usually sheer this one out a bit, but I'll show you the full pigment. Like, for me, this is a brighter lip, but it's still gorgeous. I think the tone is perfect. Like, it is so flattering on me. It has this like pinkish purple, but it's not leaning too much in one way. Really creamy matte formula, by the way. Literally a better formula than the Charlotte Tilbury one. Like more pigmented, super smooth, just goes on like a dream. Has a slight scent to it, but I don't feel like it's too much. It's right on the edge. It's not like Maybelline level scent. I can't stand that. It's like definitely more toned down. So this is Still Crazy by ColourPop. Lastly, in this pink tube lipstick category, I have the Flower Beauty Naked Blush Matte Lipstick. This one again is one that pulls slightly warmer, but I still find it quite wearable. It looks similar to, not really, it definitely is like pretty unique, maybe a little bit similar to that one because it has some warmth to it. Yeah, this one is like, you can tell it's just making my teeth look a little bit yellow, like it pulls slightly too peach on me. Usually I'll wear a lighter layer of this with another lipstick, but I think it still like kind of works on its own. Maybe if you like slightly warmer lipsticks, this one could work for you. It doesn't look too warm when it's swatched, but on the lips, just such a good example of things pulling peachy on me so easily. Next up, I have some more of like longer stick lip crayon type lipstick formulas. Let's start with this lip crayon from Chantecaille, which is called Meadow Sweet. I don't know if they still have this shade. I hope so. I really like this. It's just like a super classic matte formula. Really pretty pink. Looks super similar to my two favorites, the MAC Viva Glam and Merit Beauty Baby. A little bit more warm though. I like that this is nice and small, makes it easy to apply. Creamy matte formula, beautiful, lasts a long time. Again, one of those shades where it pulls slightly warm, but I still feel like looks really flattering. So this is Meadow Sweet by Chantecaille. Next on that slightly warmer train is the Victoria Beckham Posh Lipsticks. This is the shade Girl, which is right here. You can tell it has that peachiness. These are really definitely on the more sheer side, but really moisturizing. I just love how creamy and lightweight and luxe feeling these lipsticks feel. Even though the shade isn't my absolute favorite, I still put it over other lipsticks and just wear it with a cooler tone lip liner. Oh, it's just so comfortable, especially now my lips are getting so irritated. But this is Victoria Beckham Girl. Next I have the shade from Surratt Beauty, which are their lip slicks. This is the shade Heaven. So this is like one of those twist up ones, but you want to make sure you don't twist it up too much, you know what I'm saying? This is a really pretty pink right here. Definitely is looking similar to the other options we have here, but it's one of those more moisturizing formulas. It's also on the more sheer side. Honestly feels really similar to the Victoria Beckham one. I think I like the shade better though, so if you like the Victoria Beckham Posh lipsticks but wanted a better shade, I think these ones are a good one to check out. So this is the Surratt Beauty Heaven shade. I really hope you're enjoying this video and finding it helpful, and the torture I put my lips through, I think it's gonna be worth it because I really hope that it saves you time and money from buying warm lipsticks over and over again. But let's move on to my last sort of stick formula. It's like a very balmy lipstick. This is from the Rituel de Fille brand. They're Forbidden lipsticks. If you love a cool tone, get prepared for this shade. This is the shade Prey. If you used to like Bite Beauty Kava, this is like a slightly darker version of it, but the depth, it's like a way more purple version of that Mob Beauty one. Really full pigment. I don't know why I called it balmy. It's not. I feel like it applies like a balm, but it's really pigmented. The scent of these is so nice and natural. It's like, I don't even know what. Like if you just want to live your ultimate grayish purple fantasy, I love this lip. I think it honestly still looks kind of natural on me. A little bit goth. Love it. Yeah, it's like a deeper, more pigmented version of Kava. I actually still have Kava. I know I should get rid of this because it's expired and Bite Beauty no longer sells lipsticks, but I want to swatch it for you. And that's exactly why I kept it. So here is Kava on the bottom. Very similar. The Rituel de Fille one is just slightly deeper. Next, let's talk about liquid lipsticks. The Urban Decay Vice Bond. This is the Back Talk line. I have OG Back Talk and Love Ya Back Talk, which are my two favorites. So these are a liquid lipstick formula, but they don't dry down. They have more of a glossy finish. So this is the shade OG Back Talk, which is just a really gorgeous pink neutral. And then we have the Love Ya Back Talk. Sorry, I'm running out of swatch room here, which is, you can tell, a slightly more deeper berry version. Both are in the Back Talk line. Any of the Back Talk shades, all the ones I've tried, have been a really good cool neutral, so just keep that in mind. This is so similar to my natural lip color. Again, one of my all-time favorites out of all of these. I hated this formula at first, but once you let it dry, it does not budge. Gives you this really pretty glossy look. Such a gorgeous everyday lipstick that's a little bit more pink than my MAC Viva Glam, so it's a little bit more similar to the Merit Beauty Baby. But yeah, Gorgeous. I also love these Honest Beauty liquid lipsticks. Honest Beauty kind of slays it in the lip department. So I have two shades here. I have Forever and then I have Off Duty. Off Duty is a little bit more neutral. So that is the shade Off Duty. So that's it on this side of my lips. Actually pulls like a little bit warm, but I still think it is pretty. It's actually a similar formula to the Urban Decay Vice Bond liquid lipsticks where it doesn't completely dry down, but these are definitely thicker and creamier, where the Urban Decay ones are thin and a little bit more lightweight feeling. This is my personal favorite shade, which is Forever. Oh my god, that got so messy. I actually thought I pulled out the BFF shade because that is actually my favorite, but this one is really gorgeous. I will try to find it right after I show you these, but that is the shade Forever. A little bit more of like a purpley pink. I should wear this one more. Really pretty. I actually think I want to remove the Off Duty shade from my favorite. I think it just I think it just pulls too warm, so let's remove that one. Next is probably one of my favorite lipsticks at the moment. I'm kind of obsessed with this one. It is from Rose Inc. These are their satin lip colors. I thought the shade would be way too dark and bold, but this is the shade Eloquent. This is a really gorgeous, like look how plummy that is, but it's almost like muted so it doesn't pull too bright. I mean, a lot of these are quite muted. I just find that looks most flattering on me. And these are like a balmy lipstick, so you can really sheer it out and wear it a lot more natural, which is how I like to wear it. So I'll show you that. So I usually just do that. I can even dab it on. Isn't that so pretty? So that's just like a really sheer wash of this Eloquent shade. But now let's build it up. I just love that it's so versatile and really comfortable. Like this actually feels like nothing on your lips. It's not even as like moisturizing as a balm. Like it is balmy, but more in that matte kind of way. So this is Eloquent from Rose Inc. I think this is like, you know, my dark winter shade. I just love this one from Rose Inc. It also stays on really well, like even after it wears off, it leaves a nice berry stain. Next we have sort of a similar shade from Flower Beauty. This is a really moisturizing formula. I actually feel like this is a formula dupe for the Victoria Beckham Posh lipsticks. It's that really shiny, thin formula. So these are their Perfect Pout lipsticks, and this one is the shade Blush Rose, which is kind of confusing. A lot of their names have the shade blush in them, but yeah, let me show you. This is like a slightly lighter version, but yeah, you can just tell for the deeper lipsticks, I love these really plummy neutrals. And just watch how easy this one glides on. Like, she's gorgeous. They're so moisturizing and feel amazing on the lips. But like, look at that pigment. You could also share this one out though. This is the shade Blush Rose. The only thing I don't like is this is the packaging in the little, like you have to grab this to pull it off. And they just made the bottom of it really thin compared to like their original formula. So I don't know, I feel like if you just have problems with like grip, it's just not the most accessible packaging. But other than that, love the formula, shade gorgeous. I'm losing it at this point. Okay, now we have probably my most bold lipstick besides some of the other shades from the Urban Decay Vice Bond collection. This is from 100% Pure, has this really pretty packaging. This is the shade Wine Cup, which is just a really classic matte lipstick. It is similar to the Rose Inc one, but definitely has more of that red. This is kind of like my version of a bold red lip because I just, reds don't look that good on me. So I like to go with these plum shades. This, as you can tell, sort of gives you this like blurred look. I really like the formula of this one. Definitely has some more red tones in there. The Honest Beauty one, if you want like a darker lip, this is like more of a purple version. This is a really deep plum from Rose Inc. And then this one from 100% Pure has more of those pinky red tones. So this is Wine Cup. I'm totally going to be bathing my lips in lip balms after this video, but these were all of my lipstick swatches. Let me know if you want a lip gloss version of this video. I don't have quite as many, but I think it still could be helpful. Again, if you did find this helpful and enjoyable, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe, and there will be another video here so we can keep hanging out. But I will see you in my next one, and thanks for hanging out. Bye!